Kempire is brought to you by. We are so excited to announce that the Kempire After Dark, a live tour, is coming back. We are first returning to Los Angeles on November 20th at the Bourbon Room. And then we will be in London. Yes, the first international date of the Kempire After Dark live experience is coming to London, of course, because this is where it all began at our first meet and greet. On December 8th, we will be at Neon 194. This live show is presented by our friends over at AEG. So if you haven't gotten your tickets already, what are you waiting for? December is right around the corner. Every Kempire After Dark live experience is so different than the other. So make a trip, or if you live in London, come to the Kempire After Dark live experience. And just announce, Washington, D.C., we're coming back. We're coming back. Yes, we're coming back to Union Stage, Washington, D.C. Come out. Get your tickets are now available. Let's sell out all 3 shows for 2024 and the early part of 2025. We'll be in DC on January 24th. More information on all tour dates will be available in the description. I'll see you guys soon. You're listening to Kempire here on the Kempire Radio Network. Just when I thought that the Real Housewives of Orange County couldn't get any better, they just continue to top themselves. I'm so interested in them being in London because more and more little nuggets keep coming out. Who would have thought more stuff would come out against Katie? And look, I still love Katie being a part of the show, but at the same time, Katie, you've made so many amateur mistakes, and I get it. No one gives you a school on how to be a housewife, but you've made so many amateur mistakes that it's become ridiculous. You're looking like a fool. And for those that don't even know some of the side stories about Katie, then you probably believe that Heather's just, gathering this story or creating this story to come at Katie because she hasn't liked Katie since the beginning. No, based on what we've learned about Katie offline, Katie's credibility is a little questionable, especially the whole Karen story. And if you missed that, I did a whole separate video talking about Katie and the default judgment that she had where she accused this man of horrendous things and it came out to be false. And the man sued her and he got a default judgment. Don't know how that was handled. Don't know if it came up at the reunion. And if it didn't come up at the reunion, what are you guys doing over there at Bravo? We need that information. And honestly, after this incident with Heather, I could possibly understand why Heather could never see it for you, because it seems as if you had this bone you're like a dog with a bone this season just for Heather. You have this hard on for Heather, which is weird. Someone called me a Heather stan. No, this is why I say it's good to not be a fan of anyone or be team anyone, because then when someone's wrong, you're able to call them out. Some of y'all can't see past your stand-up. I can see past that, and I don't stand Heather Dubrow. But Katie, wrong road, because I'm ready to be team you. I don't be team anyone. But I'm ready to be like, yes, I like Katie, I like Jen, I even like their friendship. But the way you've moved, Katie, this is not looking good for you. I can't believe I'm starting off with that part, but I am. I am. But before we do any of that, guys, don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to share the video. Don't forget, you can get a special audio version of our live recaps on the Kempire podcast. Don't forget to also give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. And we dropped a new episode yesterday recapping Real Housewives of New York, or today. It's today we dropped it. But the new episode actually has additional thoughts. So it's dab smack in the middle where I talk more stuff about Real Housewives of New York and more stuff about Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. So this is why I said, shout out to those that are actual podcast listeners, because you always get the tea. Always get the tea. Guys, let's get into our recap of the Real Housewives of Orange County. And happy Friday. I'm literally multitasking, but welcome back to the Kempire channel, your number one source for pop culture news and music, entertainment, reality TV, and so much more. As always, be sure to like the video, be sure to share the video, and don't forget, again, you can hear an audio version. And who knows, the audio version of this one, I might add additional thoughts that I might have forgotten to talk about in this particular one. Who knows? But first off, don't forget, guys, we will be coming to Los Angeles on November 20th at the Bourbon Room. Tickets are now on sale. It's less than a month away. So what are you waiting on? What are you waiting on? Okay. Anyways, then we will be in London on December 8th. What are you guys waiting on in London? I understand. People have to wait for paychecks and things like that. Fine. But don't forget to get your tickets. We'll be coming to London in December. Shout out to those of you that say that you'll be traveling to London to be a part of that show. So that is fantastic as well. And we just announced this week that we will be coming back to Washington, D.C. at Union Stage for another live event on January 24th. Yeah, Friday, January 24th. Same inauguration week. So hopefully it'll be a celebratory live show. Sidebar, don't forget, vote.org. Check your registration. All right. Let's get to our Real Housewives of Salt Lake recap. But first, I want to talk about the reunion looks. You know, normally we don't care about Orange County's reunion looks because they don't necessarily bring it. But I will say they do look great. I still wish that there was some sort of unity in regards to their colors. This season, it does feel like there's a little bit more unity in regards to it's sort of like earth tones. It's sort of like earth tones. So maybe that's what they were going for. I will say that Emily looks fantastic, but Emily just has a body. And I know she always feels like people are just making fun of her body, you know, because she's a bigger woman, but she just has an amazing body. Like, she just gives body. Let me just see. I just want to make sure I have all of the photos because oh Lord, here's Alexis. I'm so glad we didn't talk about Alexis in this final episode before the season finale. I'm sure they will mention her during the season finale. Let me just bring up these photos really quickly so that we can judge them together. I apologize, guys, because I originally thought I had done this, that I wanted to talk about this, but I know you guys wanted to talk about the reunion looks, so let's do these reunion looks together. Let me just pull these up first. And if you're just joining us, shout out to our Kings Guards for holding us down in the live chat. We appreciate them so much. And I just want to do. Okay. I know it's a live show. It's a live show. It's fine. You guys will be patient. This will give people enough time to get into the room. Okay. All right. Let's do that. Or maybe I'll just bring them up one by one. I don't know. No, let me just pull these all up the way that I want to pull them up. Okay. I'll do that. All right. I just wanted to make sure that I had some of the photos ready for you guys. So let's look at these reunion looks. I didn't see a group shot. I'm sure by now the group shot has come out. However, let's look at the reunion looks separately. It's not my favorite part of the Real Housewives of Orange County reunions, but whatever. We will take a look at the reunion looks. Let's take a look at Katie. Katie, I've seen look fabulous throughout the season. I think I like her in general. Hold on, let me go here. Back to live mode. There we go. Katie, I think this is okay, but then again, when I thought earth tones as a theme, apparently they didn't have a theme, because then you see Katie here. This is not an earth tone. It's okay for me, and this is nothing against Katie from this latest episode. It's just okay for me. It's nothing special. It's nothing anything for me. It's okay. She looks okay. Hair and makeup look fine. It's not my favorite look. It's kind of for me. I'm gonna give this a 6. It's just okay. A 6 is not bad, though, but it's just okay for me. Okay? Heather Dubrow, I don't consider her a fashionista. I never normally love her fashions anyway. This is very basic. This is very Heather. It's okay for Heather. I'm going to give this a 7. A 7. Again, not an earth tone. Well, kind of earth tony. It's a little earth tony. Let's see. Tamra. Honestly, Tamara, your confessional look with the white big thing looks better than this. I mean, you got to give her credit for her age. Her body is banging. The color's nice on her. I don't think I really love the design. And I know some of you will say, especially women, will be like, this is, for her age, this is a very youthful look. It's giving, not last season, I think the season before, where we saw Kyle Richards doing the same thing. Sidebar, did you guys watch the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills trailer? What did you think? I love Beverly Hills, and I love that we have some new blood. But I will say I'm tired of every single trailer. We always have Kyle, oh, I'm so hurt, and she's running through the entire thing like just crying. I'm like, I don't care. And honestly, I don't care about a fight between Kyle and Dorit. But again, it's only a trailer. I will wait to judge based off of the season. But the trailer didn't get me excited. Not like the Married to Medicine trailer. We talked about that in a separate video too. But this is okay for me. This is, I mean, she looks good, but for a reunion, like this is looks a look that she would give in a confessional or, on an interview or something. It's okay. I'm gonna give this a 7. I'm gonna give it a 7. Tamra. Okay, let's see. Gina. I have to say, Gina looks good. I mean, because Gina's younger than all the other women. So I don't really mind the really short dress. Her hair and makeup look fine. I'm sure she actually got glam this time as opposed to doing it herself. It looks good. I think this is great for Gina. For Gina, this was fantastic. She deserves a 10 for Gina. But for me, I'm going to give this an 8.5. But for Gina, she looks great. Jen, look, I love me some Jen. I love me some Jen on the show. However, it's blah. It's blah, but maybe she's living within her budget. I feel like she's looked better during the season and in her confessionals than what she's giving here. I mean, she's fit as ever. The color's great on her. It's kind of blah. It's just okay. I'm going to give this a 7 as well. It's just okay. Even the hair and makeup, just okay. But maybe she's living within her means now. Okay. Okay, so that was Jen. We've got Emily. All right. Emily looks great. I love this color on her. I love the gold. Hair and makeup looks great. Like, she looks great. She looks statuesque. She looks like an award. She looks like an Oscar. I think she looks great. This is probably one of my favorite looks. I want to see a picture with her and Gina together because I bet they look fantastic together. Okay. I would give this probably a 9. I like this look on Emily a lot. Okay, Alexis. Okay, wait, no. How would you rate? It's giving old school or RHOC. This is what they would normally wear to the reunion. It's giving I am a friend of, so I don't have it in my budget. And my man is suing his ex for $75,000, so he ain't got no money. It's okay. I'm gonna give this a 6. I'm going to give this a 6. Last and definitely not least, let's bring up Shannon Beador and her reunion look. Hold on. It's going to pop up in front of me. There we go. Shannon, it's also giving old school, Real Housewives of Orange County, but she is old school Real Housewives of Orange County. I don't mind this look. It's almost teetering on age appropriate and modern and youthful at the same time. She looks great. Hair and makeup look great. This is another not favorite look, but one of the better looks. I'm going to give this an 8. Yeah, I'm going to give this an 8, maybe an 8.5. How would you guys rate the reunion looks? Let me know in the live chat. And if you're part of the replay crew, be sure to let me know your thoughts in the comment section as well. Let's get to this episode. Because I have things that I want to share. Hold on, y'all. All right. Technical difficulties over here. All right. I want to make sure my background is backgrounding. Okay. So let me open my notes in regards to the Real Housewives of Orange County's latest episode. How would you guys rate this week's episode? I thought this was a really solid episode, and I'd probably give it somewhere in like the 9, not a 10, in the 9. But I think that's still fantastic. Another sidebar. Jen, her ex, apparently is telling a court that he's having issues with Jen and her talking about him on the show. He exposed text messages of hers. And I was still waiting. They were saying shocking text messages. And I was still waiting for the shocking part. It sounded like Jen was just being a parent. Like, for me, it just reminded me that the Jen that we get on the show is the Jen that is who she is in real life. I don't know what's going on with her ex, but I'm still Team Jen based on what the ex is exposing in text messages. And I'm sure he probably doesn't love what she's saying about him on the show. But honestly, she's not being slammed on the show. I don't think people look at Jen's husband as a terrible human being. I think now we might. But anyways, so that is another side story. Maybe in the podcast version of this recap, I will actually go through the text messages with you guys. That's an idea. Okay. Let me put some lip chap on because my lips are feeling a little, and I don't have any of my, that's the thing. I will have so many Vaselines, lip balms, and none of them will be where I need them. Or when I'm out and about and I need them the most, then I end up buying another one. And then I have like a ton. And then still, I don't have any near me right now besides my Vaseline. And Vaseline's great, but it doesn't really moisturize your lips. where are we going? Anyways, let's talk about this trip. So, as you know, last week's episode ended with Jen slamming Tamra, went into her room and basically said, you try to dig up information on Ryan. So she's going off. Heather tries to bring Jen back to mediate the situation. And Jen says that Tamra doesn't have a soul. And Heather's like, that's not nice. I find it weird. Look, I don't know the history of Real Housewives of Orange County. It's the only city of this franchise that I don't know chapter and verse. But I find their alliance, and I'm calling it an alliance because I don't believe that Heather's really friends with Tamra. They are just very different people. And I don't see them being real friends. Because again, I don't think Tamra can be real friends to anyone, not even her own husband. Okay? I don't even know if she's a real friend to herself. Just saying. So anyways, Heather tries to mediate this conversation, and she's like, please don't yell to Tamra. And when Jen says to Tamra that you have no soul, Heather's like, oh, that's not nice. Okay. Tamra claims that Ryan, because she then goes in because Jen and Tamra just can't agree at this particular moment. And when she leaves, Tamra tells Heather that Ryan was selling timeshares and not building the properties and collecting HOH fees. She claims that Shannon knew about this and asked Tamra to look into the lawsuit. Okay, because Leslie Bedore was named in this lawsuit. So they do show the text messages on the show. I don't know if it's the smoking gun that Tamra claims that it is. Again, I don't think, and I think we as an audience, as a community, can have the conversation here because I know the Bravo universe will be like, Team Shannon all the way. Tamra, you're just a rat. I think two things can be true. And I think this season, I'm seeing it more that Shannon really does lean into the, whoa, 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 Shannon. Like she leans into being the victim. However, I think two things can be true. I can think that Shannon is doing her own pre-producing behind the scenes, but also Tamra could be a terrible human being and a terrible friend and not a friend. So I think those two things can be true. I do believe that Shannon might have decided to use this piece of information and not give the full story to Jen. But Jen later says when confronted by this information, she's like, well, Shannon's been more of a friend to me than you have. And they were really friends, Tamra and Jen, off of the show. So Tamra claims that Shannon knew and asked her to investigate the situation. Speaking of Shannon does meet up with her daughters in this episode. They took the train from Paris to meet up with their mom for her birthday. It was a cute scene. They went out to lunch together. We also saw that at one particular point in a scene that we didn't necessarily see until they showed it later. That, let me take out this. The Apple Watch is so annoying, y'all. So sometimes when y'all see me look down, it's because I'm getting notifications. So let me just take it off because it's so annoying. Anyways. So she meets up with her daughters. Very cute scene. Very nice to see that they, met up with her while she was in London. And she's like, her daughters were away, so it's nice to kind of see them still for her birthday, and they're meeting up in a foreign country, which it's cool. I can see that. Anyway, so Tamra, Heather, and Gina go for this caviar tasting. Gina, in the moment, because she's seeing what Tamra is doing to someone that's her real friend, she's like, how do I know that you're not going to do the same thing to me? Which is a good question. She will do the same thing to you, Gina. There's no doubt in my mind. I can almost guarantee you that Tamra would turn on you in this way. Because if she would turn on people that she considered her real friends, Shannon, Jen, she will do this to you because she doesn't even consider you a real friend. Tamra then brings up the Katie daughter story. So apparently during that lunch that we love so much, Katie's daughter, Kaylee, brought up that when she was babysitting Emily's twins, that they brought up that they don't like Heather. Heather's mean to their mom. Mind you, in that moment when Kaylee wanted to bring it up, Katie was like, yeah, tell her. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, Katie, wrong road. And why would you involve your daughter? And look, her daughter's 19 years old, but still, why would you involve your daughter in this mess? And do I believe the twins may have said something to that effect? Even if they did, why would you run tell that to to Tamra of all people? Or even bring it up on camera? And I don't blame Shane, like, well, she won't be babysitting my kids anymore. Yeah, because that's weird. And I agree with, at first I was sort of like, okay, whatever. It's not a big deal. But when you think about it, it's like you're babysitting someone, these are new friends, kids, and now you've exploited that opportunity and the thing is, even if the boys didn't say it, that makes it even weirder and worse. So Tamara brings that up. And of course, Gina is good friends with Emily. So she's just like, those boys don't care about that stuff. They're more concerned about everything else in their lives. They don't care about this stuff. And Heather ends up getting emotional about it. Do you think that was real? Look, we have to remember Heather is an actress. I wonder what her emotions stem from, being made out to be this mean person. Maybe. Like, no one wants the narrative that they're a mean, terrible person and that children are saying these things about them. But I do think that it was weird. And honestly, again, for those that don't know the side stories when it comes to Katie has been accused legally of lying on people, lying on this man, saying that he did something that he didn't do that could have had his life risked with the police when they came to the incident. We did a whole separate video. I don't remember the details of it all, but I did a separate video where I went through the story with you guys. Moz, if we can post it in the live chat, please do so. And guys, if you haven't already, be sure to like the video. It's easy. It's free. Why are you here if you're not going to like the video this long? Just saying. Anyways. In another scene, we have Jen, Emily, and Katie go for drinks. And Jen shares what happened between her and Tamra. And it seems like Emily completely gets where Jen is coming from. I think we all can get where Jen is coming from when it comes to this whole Tamra situation, talking about her man. And Emily was like, I give Ryan credit for being there for you and your kids. It's not like she has one kid. She's got multiple kids. She's got a whole legal situation going on. She's in the middle of a divorce. Look, I give him credit. Look, I don't love Ryan for Jen, but if she likes him, fine. Look, fine. Look, he ain't in jail yet. All right. Then they go for this as a group. They go for this English dining etiquette. I want to do this when I go to London. I don't know how long I'll be in London, but I'm not going to go for London for just the show. I got to go and stay and spend some time. I would love to do an English dining etiquette situation. We should. Oh, I just thought of something. I just thought of something. Stay tuned. I told you it might be some surprises coming when I go to London. So stay tuned. I think this would be fantastic. I just had an idea. I say all that to say, which I love the fact that we are in London in this episode, and I'm taking the show back. Well, I'm taking this show to London, and London, the meetup that we had in London inspired the Kempire After Dark experience. So I just love that we're in London, and I'm seeing all the images of London where they were when they went to Windsor Castle. I went to Windsor Castle when I was in London. I couldn't go in the castle. You can only go in on certain days. And I can't remember if the flag was up at the time. Remember when I went to London, that was when King Charles was being, I was going to say inaugurated, but whatever the word is. So I was literally there that week. It's so crazy. Oh my gosh. A year later, what a year makes. In regards to his role and him, have we gotten an update on King Charles and his health? Anyways, so they go through the first of all, it's not uncommon. I think we talked about this with another reality show. Maybe it was Real Housewives as well. When you travel, I think it was Real Housewives of Miami when they were talking about when you travel, you can kind of get constipated. It's like there's a term for it. So apparently all the ladies are going through it. Shannon goes through it in this episode, but Katie had actual poop pills and she gave them to Emily, and she had told Emily it would take a few hours and things like that. But Emily's like, no, she's like, she could go at any time. Do I love the fact that we're talking about poop during the etiquette lesson? No, I don't. But fine. Then they start going through the whole etiquette stuff. I was paying attention. I was like, oh, I'm sure there was a lot more that they went through that we didn't end up seeing. But I was like, this is interesting. I would love to do something like this. Would I continue to follow it? No, but it'd be interesting to know what is considered, English etiquette. Fine. So they go through that. They're paying attention. Well, somewhat paying attention. You know how these ladies can. So Tamra decides to call out Shannon. After their etiquette lessons over, she calls out Shannon for her involvement in the text message in regards to doing research on Ryan. And then it turns into Shannon's just like, no, I didn't. No, I didn't. And then Tamara screams across the table, per usual, that you're a liar and a drunk. See, that's where you lose me. It's one thing to scream across the table and say, Shannon, you're lying. But to add the fact that you're drunk takes credibility away from you. You're not trying to help your friend that might have a drinking problem. You think calling someone a drunk that might have a drinking problem is going to be helpful? Or if they didn't necessarily have a drinking problem, now they're insecure and have anxiety that maybe do I have a problem? Like, you're not helpful at all. And this is why the audience is sort of like Team Shannon on it. Because yes, do I think Shannon is trying to spin a narrative herself and she's not completely innocent and she's playing the victim? Yes. However, when you have to choose a side in this argument, no one's going to choose you, Tamara, because you're screaming across the table, you're a liar and a drunk. And I love the fact that Gina's like, please don't do that. That is so uncalled for, especially with the whole drinking part. But we saw the text messages. Fine. I feel like there's deja vu because we have this conversation between Tamra and Shannon during this lunch, and then it happens again at the end of the episode. Fine. But then it turns into an argument between Tamra and Jen, and she's like, why aren't you mad at Shannon? She's like, because Shannon's been more of a friend to me than you've ever been. And then Jen says to Tamara, you need to be quiet. You need to, because you bringing up, oh, Ryan is doing this, Ryan is doing that. You need to be quiet. She's like, oh, what? Is Ryan going to put a hit out on me? What? Like, she makes these inflammatory statements about people, thinking because she's on a reality show that she can't get in trouble for them. Well, Ryan taught her a lesson because she did something similar on Watch What Happens Live, and he sent her a legal something. I don't know if it was a cease and desist or a lawsuit, but he sent her something to the point where she went on her social media and apologized. You might not be so lucky next time. And I don't know what Ryan's going to do in regards to this, but she does make some very inflammatory and defamatory statements about who he is. And she's made some statements on the show about him. I'm not saying that they're not true, but like, what's your end game here? Because the only person that I feel that really values the friendship with Jen in that household, in Tamara's household, is Eddie. And you can see that he really wants to mitigate the situation in a better way than Tamara has been. And at one point, they flash back to what Tamara does this all the time. She knows what she's doing. She's saying these things on camera intentionally. So she said what she said to Katie before leaving Katie's house in order to spark more conversation. But do I think that Tamara's being a producer's pet? Do I think the producers are the ones behind the scenes trying to stir the pot? I do, especially when it comes to the whole Gina stuff. Because I was like, okay, wait a minute. Every single week in the last couple of weeks of Real Housewives of Orange County, I feel like there's a new something that comes up, a new random story. I'm like, what? Oh, okay. We're gonna talk about the Gina stuff now. Okay, we're gonna get there. Based on my notes, I did take notes this week. In regards to Real Housewives of Orange County, if you've been watching, I have been taking notes because I just want to enjoy the episode, but there's just so much that happened. I was like, let me just take a couple of notes. I did watch it last night and then I watched it again this morning. So Tamara claims that Shannon wanted to dig up dirt on Gina and Travis. Because you remember the story where Gina was being accused of pushing Travis down the stairs, but this was a story that Travis's ex put out there. So remember, at the top of the season, we were like, why is Gina moving, not moving, or having Travis move out? And we told you, based off of what we were seeing on social media, now it's in a better place with Travis and the ex and what's been figured out. And it seems like the ex might have some sobriety issues. So her credibility is not the best. So that might be the reason why Gina was like, we need to live separate lives or live separately. It was because of his ex. So I wonder if things will change now that that situation has been litigated, literally. So Tamara claims that Shannon, before the reunion, wanted to dig up dirt on Gina and that situation. And I had to rewind. I was like, wait, did Gina and Shannon have issues last season? They did. They did. Do I believe that Shannon wanted to dig up dirt on Gina? Yes. But do I think that Tamra, you're a grown adult, so you were also a part of this smoking gun. So you're not completely innocent. And honestly, Shannon, you could easily brush over this situation and be like, we weren't in the best place. Did I want to get information on you? Yes. But she was the one doing it. She was the one doing it. So not completely innocent, Tamra. Not completely innocent. And literally, Tamra brings this up on camera because now she wants to be a producer's pet. But do I think that she's working with a producer in order to get this information on the show? If it's feeling that way, or she's self-producing, which is annoying. But I, again, did not expect this story to even come out. I was like, wait a sidebar. The other day, I was watching Real Housewives of Orange County, and then, oh no, I was watching something else, and then Real Housewives of Orange County's premiere episode came on, and I heard my own voice, and I completely forgot that I was on the season premiere. I was like, oh yeah, I'm on the season premiere of Real Housewives. I forgot that I was on Orange County. I mean, I've been on a few different episodes of different shows in the Real Housewives atmosphere. And no, I'm not just saying that to be like, ooh. No, I completely forgot that I was on the premiere episode of Orange County this season. They used my voice for those that didn't recognize my voice. I believe they also used Zach Peters' voice as well. So, look, I say all that to say because I'm remembering things, okay? All right, let's move on because there were a lot of different moments. So she brings that up in regards to Shannon. Tamara brings that up in regards to Shannon trying to get some sort of smoking gun on Gina and Travis based on what was in the blogs, okay? So they're doing separate things. Shannon is not feeling well because apparently Shannon has not pooped in 3 days. And I know some of us are like, what? I've been to the doctor and they're like, are you, is your system regular? And then I was like, yes, thankfully. Because I remember years ago, I dated someone that told me, yeah, I haven't gone in a few days. I was like, you haven't gone to the bathroom in a few days? I'm like, that is weird. That's not good. Like, what is your health? This was a long time ago, but I remember that mind you, I'm bringing it up today. I'm like, there are people walking around like compacted. Ew. Like, ew. That's why I always say, like, thank God for because your stomach health is very important to your overall health. I don't know if people realize that too. Just saying. Anyways, and normally I don't love them talking about these things on the show because it feels disgusting sometimes, but this is a real thing. We talk about we want reality on these shows. This is real. This is real. This happens sometimes for when they travel. Okay. Anyways, so Shannon, because it's 3 days, starts to feel really sick. She wants to throw up. She's just like, her stomach is hurting her. Katie, you're a real one. Katie gets her an enema and says, do you want me to do it? See, this is why I am so conflicted with Katie, because one minute I'm like, Katie, you're a Karen. And another minute I'm like, Katie, wrong road. And another minute I'm like, oh, Katie's really there for her friends. I do like Katie. I still like her. I think next season, maybe she can have a redemption season. I don't know what she was thinking this season. She's made so many amateur mistakes this season. And my thing is, it's not just the fact that she's coming after Heather. Feel free to come after Heather for real stuff. But the paparazzi stuff, the kids stuff, it's weird. It's weird. Like, this wasn't the road. This wasn't the road to go. Okay. And again, I also think that Heather is not completely innocent. I think she's also a sniper from the side, and she's just better at navigating flipping the situation on people. We talked about that in last week's episode. So, and I see a little bit of that in this week's episode. in regards to her sort of navigating, producing behind the scenes. And we know she is. She literally is telling people, don't mention this on camera. We heard her in the hot mic moment with Dr. Terry. So we know what she's doing as well. But she's just a little bit better at it than you, Katie. And why are we involving children? Other people's children at that. It's one thing to involve your own kid, but to involve other people's children, little boys, Katie. Katie. Heather, at one particular point, she's like, I didn't even look at Katie. And Tamara says, I did once, and I did like that. Why are you mad at Katie, Tamara? Because, oh, you're in this weird alliance with Heather. Fine. Fine. Guys, if you haven't already, be sure to like the video. It's easy and it's free. And because the ladies are in London, don't forget, I will be in London in December. Before you know it, will be December. December 8th, I'll be in London for the Kempire After Dark, a live experience. Get your tickets today. And just announced we'll be coming to Washington, D.C. once again at Union Stage on January 24th. Tickets are now on sale. There are VIP tickets available for all of our shows. And of course, next month, literally in just 3 weeks, I will be in Los Angeles for the Kempire After Dark live experience at the Bourbon Room. Let's sell out the show, guys. This is the first and only show that we've had on the West Coast. So if you are on the West Coast, if you're in California, if you will be in California, come to this Kempire After Dark live experience. I look forward to meeting all of you. Okay. All right. So Shannon goes and she finally finds some relief. She finds some relief. I felt relieved for her. I was like, I can't even imagine what that feels like. Anyways, Emily and Heather and Tamara are on their own little adventure. Emily said that she knew about the whole Katie stuff and she planned on letting it go. So she didn't expect that this would come up during the trip. She says that she doesn't talk about adult stuff in front of her boys. And she specifically wouldn't be bashing Heather in front of her boys. I mean, I wouldn't judge her if she did. It'd be one thing if she was talking to her boys about it. But we know our parents talk about other people all the time in front of us when we were kids. I don't think that's a big deal, but I get where Emily's coming from. Now this is involving her minor kids. It's weird, Katie. It's strange. And she says there are a few things that makes this terrible. You're involving my kids. You're making it seem like I'm a terrible parent by talking about these things in front of my kids. And then you don't know how this is going to affect my friendship with Heather, which has already been on shaky ground. I agree with all of her points. So she says she's not happy about the situation. She actually said that she's pissed off. Tamra says that Shannon is sick because she knows that she's going to retaliate, which leads Tamra to telling Emily about the Gina stuff in regards to Shannon wanting to dig up dirt on Travis and Gina's relationship before the reunion. Fast forward, they already get a text. Emily gets a text from Gina in regards to Shannon not feeling well and being compacted. So we fast forward to the group roast dinner. You know, I was supposed to go to a roast when I was in London and I ended up not getting to go. That was the one thing that I didn't end up doing that I had planned on doing when I was in London was to do like an official English roast. Maybe next time I go there. Not maybe, next time I go. There are a few things that I want to do when I go to London this time around. There's a few things. You remember last time I went to the West End twice. I went more times to a live show than I do here in New York City. Because also Times Square is so... It's just so many, it's so touristy. I feel like when I go to the West End, it doesn't feel that way. Or maybe it's the particular shows that I went to, it didn't feel that way. So I want to do the West End when I get there. I also want to, where else did I want to do when I went? I'm not telling y'all what I want to do. Y'all see it. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll see it. All right. So Shannon has a combo with Heather. She pulls Heather to the side because Heather senses something with her. Because we found out that Heather basically told the group the conversation that she had with Shannon. If you rewind the tape during our recap when they were in Sonoma and Shannon went to Heather, I told you, I felt like it was weird. Like, I get it. They're working on their friendship. I was like, for you to share something so intimate and deep on camera with Heather felt strategic. Again, I don't think that Shannon's innocent. I do think that Shannon, very much like a lot of these housewives that have been on the show for a very long time, are self-producing. I told you back then, I felt like it was weird that she was sharing something so deep and dark with Heather, but fine, whatever. So Heather ends up bringing this up to the ladies as a group, and that information got back to Shannon. So she ends up having a conversation with Heather. So this is when Heather, and they flash back to like, and Heather says like, this is what Shannon does. She wants to spin a narrative. We flash back to when David was cheating on her, and she wanted to spin that narrative. It's so crazy how Shannon looks so different. She also sounds a little different. It's so interesting. So they had their own conversation, but they end up being in a good place. It gets a little heated. They always, I don't think they will ever see it for each other, to be honest. I think they will get along, and they will, honestly, it's like perfect. It's almost like Karen Huger and Giselle Bryant, where I feel like they will always take shots at each other and always take each other down at any given point. But somehow, some way, they're still able to move forward in the show and make it believable and have fun with each other. So it kind of gives me that energy between the two of them. Okay. And no, I don't know which one would be Karen Huger and which one would be Giselle. I don't know which. You tell me which one would be Karen Huger and which one would be Giselle. Okay, Heather or Shannon. All right. Live chat. Shout out to our Kingsguard. Shout out to our channel members. Become a member today at teamkempire.com/join. And for everything Kempire will be available in the description, including our show tickets, Cameo, all ways that you can support the channel, and how you can subscribe to the Kempire podcast. Okay? All right. Let me move on. I'm trying to think if there was anything. Oh, back to Shannon and Heather's conversation in regards to, Heather was like, I didn't know that you told me not to repeat this. Then they flash back to the footage where Heather says, I won't bring this up. She's like, yeah, let's not bring this up to the rest of the group. So she did. But we have to remember this is being filmed. So there's a part of Shannon did tell her not to bring this up. And Heather said that she wouldn't bring it up. But Heather also in her mind's like, well, this is being filmed, so it will be shared. So we have to think about that. We're watching a show that's being filmed. So a lot of what they're saying on the show is going to come out to the rest of the group at some point. So maybe in Heather's mind, she's thinking, well, I didn't think that we couldn't talk about this. Maybe. All right. But like I said, Heather says, Shannon likes to spin her own narrative. She's been doing this for years. And this is probably how Heather and Tamara have bonded over that, over their disgust and dislike of Shannon and what Shannon does on the show. So Shannon goes back to the table, not realizing they're having a conversation about Shannon, because during their conversation, that's when Tamara says to Gina, well, it hurt me that you thought that I might do something like this to you in regards to the Jen stuff. And she's like, what if I told you basically that Shannon was digging up information on Travis and pushing Travis down the stairs? And Gina's just like, what? Like, Gina seems like blindsided. But I don't think Gina was so blindsided, because she looked over to Emily. And I'm sure Emily, for those that don't think that Emily and Gina don't have a real friendship, no, they have a real friendship. There are a lot of people that are just friends for the show. I feel like Gina and Emily really have a real friendship, which I like. Sidebar, you remember when the Brooke Ashley was on the show, she says the only reason why Emily and Gina are back this season was because of Shannon's DUI. And now it's making even more sense to me that Gina is back, because the producers, this is why I feel like Tamra's working with the producers. They wanted to, because, this season, Gina's kind of gotten away with everything in regards to her own personal story. She doesn't really have a lot. She really tried at the top of the season to work overtime to be relevant. We saw that. Fine. We've moved on. But it feels like at least Tamra was trying to produce here, bringing up the whole Travis stuff. So when Shannon comes back to the table, this is where she brings it up and throws Shannon under the bus. And Shannon's like, well, you're the one who told me. Tamra claims that this story came back out in 2022. Was it that long ago? The article did say 2022, but I was like, I feel like we all just found that out. But who knows? especially during Pandorama. I'm just sort of like, I don't remember time. Where did the time go? It's almost 5 years, y'all, since the panorama, the pandemic. Just saying, it's almost 5 years. Come March. Crazy. Look crazy. So they where was I? So when Shannon comes back to the table, so it's like, you're the one who brought me. Look, I will say this based off of, and I need people to take off their rose-colored glasses when it comes to Shannon. Based on Shannon's response, I was like, yeah, Shannon did do this. Based on Shannon's response, I was like, yeah, she did this. But Tamara, you're still a terrible person because now you're bringing it on camera. Because even though Shannon may have had intentions of bringing it up at the reunion, she ended up not. But now, Tamara, you're bringing it into the next season, and now you're bringing it up on camera. After you see that Shannon and Gina and Emily are now in a good place, and they've defended Shannon multiple times on this trip alone. So it's very clear Tamara wanted to sever that relationship. Very much like she wanted to sever the relationship that Shannon has built with Jen. Because now Tamara's feeling like only person I have that has my back is Heather. And she wants more people to have her back. I don't think people are going to have your back because they feel like you're a loose cannon. They also feel like you have no loyalty to anyone. So I don't think people would ever have your back, Shannon, because Tamara, because they feel like, I feel like you might turn on me. And she will. I'm telling you right now, Tamara Judge will turn on you. She will turn on you. If anything, if you want to bet on something, bet on the fact that Tamara will turn on you. I don't care if she swears up and down, you're like a sister to me. No, that's not happening. That's not happening. She's not loyal. I don't think she's even loyal to Eddie. You saw how she just left Eddie at that party, just left him drunk, and he was telling her to calm down. She still didn't. But Tamara does say that she called Taylor because the whole story is that, if I can remember the whole story, that Shannon wanted to get more information, so she wanted Tamara to reach out to Taylor's husband, her new husband, in order to get more information. So she says that she called Taylor to confirm this information. Taylor did say that Shannon, off of the show, when she's not on the show anymore, Shannon doesn't know Taylor anymore. We've heard this about Shannon. Do I believe it? Yes, I do. I don't know. I guess maybe we will find out during the reunion whether or not Taylor confirms this. I don't know how we would confirm that Taylor will say, yes, that's what happened. Maybe Taylor will say it in an interview or on a podcast. I don't know. But regardless, they weren't in a good place. A lot of these housewives, if you've been watching Housewives for a long time, dig up information on each other. But what I can appreciate is Gina's like, we're not doing this anymore. I'm done with this. This is too far. Because we have to remember the situation that she's dealing with when it comes to Travis and his ex is serious. Like, this is their real lives. When they're not on this show, she has to co-parent with this woman. She's got to deal with this situation. She also loves Travis's kids. So we have to think about that aspect. I know we're watching a show where we're so invested, but when the show is not airing, they actually have to have a real life with these people that people are bringing up and bringing these situations up. And I'm sure Gina was like, I did not see this being brought up. And I do believe that some of this is producer driven, to be honest. I do. But honestly, am I mad about it? No, because I didn't see it coming. I was like, oh, another story to talk about. But Tamara's at the center of it. Yes, Shannon is too. And Shannon's hands are clean because she has Tamara do her dirty work. But Tamara, you're a grown adult doing the dirty work. That's the part. Like, let's not forget about Tamra. Like, we haven't forgotten about the whole autism thing. And I think that whole autism diagnosis was to make yourself look better because you're just looking worse and worse as the season goes on. And next week is the season finale. So I'm just sort of like, well, Tamara, now I understand. So they didn't talk about the autism diagnosis at the reunion because that came out after the reunion. How convenient for her. As someone that has worked with children with autism on various parts of the spectrum, to nonverbal, to some that are verbal, I do think that it's pretty low because I still think of the kids that I used to work with, like what are their lives? Because a lot of them now, oh my gosh, they're adults. They're over the age of 18 now, probably like 20 something years old. And I think about, they're not on a reality show or running businesses or doing things like that. Yes, varied on the spectrum. They're able to probably do a lot more than some others. But Tamara, you might have something else going on with you, but I definitely don't think it's autism. And I think it's irresponsible that you even said that. And when you have a platform, you do have to figure out what I should share and what I shouldn't share. And I do, because of your credibility, lacking of credibility, I don't know if I believe your therapist said that. And I also believe you knew that your therapist couldn't come out and say, I never said that, because they legally can't, which says a lot more about you. Again, like the depths that you'll reach. And again, this woman in this last episode of Orange County screamed across the table, "You're a liar and you're a drunk," to someone that she considered a close friend at one particular point. I don't know a friend like that. I don't want a friend like that. But that's me. But that's me. So here's the thing. Shannon says, this is growth that I'm getting up and walking from the table. Shannon, you have not grown. You always are walking away from a situation. And I do believe that Shannon walked away not because she was scared of what she was going to say or do. I think that she was caught and she felt like if she stayed there any longer, more stuff would have come out. Look, this is why I say when your team no one, you can call Shannon out and you can call Tamra out for whatever. I do believe that Shannon was caught out there, and Shannon, you have a history of just storming out. This is not growth. This is consistency of what you've done. They come out with the cake for her cake and she's gone. It wasn't lost on me, Emily being so what's the word? Just so not happy, but sort of like giggled or humored by the fact that this is why I need to start reading again. We're going to have to start a book club, because I'm like looking for words and adjectives. And I'm like, what's the adjective? I need to get back to my reading. But no. So she was so just humored by the fact that Shannon just left and it came out with this birthday cake, and Tamara took the birthday cake and blew it out. I hope you have bad luck on you taking someone else's birthday cake and blowing out their candles. What they should have done is went to grab Shannon, like, come on. Let's just at least blow out your cake and then you can leave. But they didn't. Fine. Look, fine. Guys, how would you rate this week's episode of The Real Housewives of Orange County? It's such a great season for them. This is their best season in a long time. As someone that's been recapping it for the last 3 years, this for me in the last 3 years, because I know a lot of changes happened in the last 3 years right before. So for me, this has been their best season, even with Katie. Katie, I think you've taken the wrong road, but I still love your friendship with Jen. I don't know, Katie. Like, I'm looking at you with the side eye. I'm really looking at you with the side eye. But anyways, I say all that to say, guys, don't forget to like the video. It's easy. It's free. And don't forget to subscribe to the Kempire podcast. We will be uploading a special version of this episode there, like we did yesterday in regards to Real Housewives of New York City and Salt Lake City. And I added a lot in between, some additional thoughts in regards to Brand talking about the black angry woman stereotype. And we talked about something else in regards to Salt Lake City. There was something else I talked about in regards to Salt Lake. Oh, yeah, I have it here. Oh, the Dana Wilkie audio. I play that in that episode. So be sure to subscribe to the Kempire podcast. And while you're there, help us get to 1,000 reviews on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. 5-star reviews, though. Head on over there if you haven't already. Shout out again to our King's Guards, our channel members, and of course our subscribers. We appreciate you guys. And we also appreciate those of you that aren't subscribed but watch our content all the time, but you're missing out. So when you hit me up saying, I don't see you talking about this or I missed this, well, you're not subscribed, so you're missing out on a lot. So if you don't want to miss out on anything, make sure you subscribe and make sure you turn on your notifications and make sure you're following us on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter, because I do different things on different platforms. Like if you want to know my thoughts immediately as I'm watching the episodes of some of your favorite shows or hot topics, I'm talking about them on Twitter, aka X. So follow us there. Everything is at the Kempire. Thank you all for being here. I hope you guys have a great rest of your Friday. Bye, y'all. Thanks for tuning in to Kempire here on the Kempire Radio podcast. As always, don't forget to give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. And for everything Kempire Radio, head on over to kempireradio.com.